Tracy.
James' eyes opened. He yawned and stretched. Dicey waited for him to say what he always said first thing, about it still being true. Then everything would be back to normal. He caught her eye. I wish I had seen you going into the boys' bathroom, he said. I thought I'd split when Sammy told me. I noticed, Dicey said. How's your head? James rolled it back and forth. Almost okay, he said. What do you mean, almost? Does it hurt? James thought, it feels tender, as if it could hurt. It doesn't exactly hurt, but it feels like it will. Dicey sat up. We can't go until James is better, she said sternly to herself. That's the most important thing. So they have to wait another day. They only had apples left in their food supply, and Dicey wanted to save them in case. So they went down to the little beach, leaving James behind. 3 or 4 families already crowded the beach, and the Tillemans had to eat the apples for breakfast after all. Because they couldn't go climbing. It's a weekend, James exclaimed. That means a lot of people around, especially on the beaches, I bet. Well, what'll we do, Dicey asked him. She answered herself. We'll try fishing in the marsh. You'll have to stay here alone, she cautioned James. Danny? A voice called from the road. Is that you? It was Edie. And Dicey stood up to show the girl where they were. Louis was with her. They had come, they said, to see how the third brother was and to warn the children that it was a weekend, so lots of people would be in the park. Edie was carrying something bulky, an instrument. She sat down beside James and played on it a little, leaning it back against her shoulder. The sound was part banjo, part harp. You like that? She asked James. What is it? An auto harp. Here, she said, and sang a song to them about a girl who wanted to follow her boyfriend to war. Oh, I like that, Maybeth said, when Edie finished. I do too, honey, Edie said. Do you know any songs you'd like me to sing? Maybeth shook her head. Dicey looked over at Edie over James's head and asked, do you know Pretty Peggy O? Sure, Edie said. She bent her head over the auto harp, and her long hair fell down like a curtain. She strummed a couple chords, then raised her face. But this wasn't their song. This song was about William, the false lover, and how he took Pretty Peggy O into running away with him, but then murdered her. Edie sang the song, quick and cruel, with sharp metallic sounds from her instrument. Ooh, you're a good singer, James said. I thought we were going, Sammy said. Going where? Edie asked. Fishing, Dicey told her. Do you have the hook and line? James asked. Dicey nodded. And worms? Well, she hadn't thought about bait. Count on James to think things through, Dicey thought, and forgave him for his lack of persistence the day before for being careless and falling. Shall we stay with James? Edie asked. Dicey didn't object. When they had gotten out of earshot of the campsite, Sammy said he wasn't going fishing with them. He was going to the playground. He didn't want to walk anymore ever. He didn't want to explore. He didn't want to get into any trouble. He didn't mind being left alone. He would not go with them no matter what Dicey said or did. Dicey decided she could probably leave him safely at the playground. She instructed him to go back to the campsite if he got bored. Not to go wandering about, and don't talk to anyone. Why not? Sammy demanded. Well, you know, don't talk about us. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not stupid. Maybeth and Dicey crossed the dirt road from the playground and found a path to the small campground. Another path led to a bluff overlooking the marshes. They walked without speaking through the warm morning. The only sounds were the rustling of leaves above them and the rustling of their feet on the leafy ground. They emerged from the woods on top of a low bluff that marked the border of the marshlands. Below, the heavy grasses swayed. Narrow canals of water moved gently. The scene could have been painted in watercolors. So pale was the green of the grass. So subdued was the blue of the water. They climbed down a short path and stood on the muddy ground of the lowlands. A heron looked up at them, curious but not afraid, for he flew to a more secluded spot. Clusters of gnats hovered in the air. It's so quiet, Dicey said. Maybeth nodded. Think there are any fish? Daisy asked, feeling her hunger. Maybeth didn't answer. Daisy walked out along the mud flat until she found a spot she liked. There she baited the hook with the worms in her pocket, put it into the water, and waited. Maybeth sat beside her, braiding seagrass into long and useless lines. Daisy caught a fish almost right away, 6 or 7 inches long. She rebaited the hook and caught another, even larger. She couldn't believe her luck. Every few minutes she could feel the tentative, jerking nibble on the end of her line. When she had enough, Daisy took off her shirt and piled the catch onto it. As long as they could fish, they wouldn't go hungry. She smiled at Maybeth. "Let's go back and eat," she said. "It would be okay." They could wait for James to get well. They stopped by the playground to pick up Sammy, but he wasn't there. Daisy hurried back to their camp. James sat alone, scratching at the ground with a stick. Fear clutched at Daisy's stomach. "Sammy!" she called. She shouldn't have left him alone for so long. "James, have you seen Sammy?" Sammy stepped out from behind a boulder. Daisy let out a little snort of relief. "Look," Daisy held up the fish she had caught. "Anybody hungry?" "Why are you hiding?" Maybeth asked Sammy. "Well, we heard somebody coming and I didn't know who it was." His hazel eyes searched out Daisy's face. "Oh, I found something." "What? Bring it over. We need some wood, too, to cook the fish." Sammy went behind the boulder and came out holding a big grocery bag, which he set down before the fireplace. "Look at this," he said. "Egg salad sandwiches, a bag of potato chips, ham sandwiches, pieces of celery stuffed with peanut butter, a bag of cookies, paper plates, paper cups, paper napkins." James sat silent watching. "Where did you find it?" Daisy asked. "Left in the woods behind the bathroom," Sammy said. "And some people gave me a hot dog, too, but I ate it with them. They had ketchup. I was so hungry," he said. "Sammy," Daisy spoke slowly, "this looks like somebody's picnic." "Well, they might have forgotten it," Sammy said. "That's not the truth," Daisy said. "Is it?" Sammy said. "Oh, it is too," Sammy said. "What's the matter?" James asked. "I mean, we're the hungry ones. They could probably go back to the store and buy food, whoever they belong to. We'll just go home and eat. We need it." Daisy couldn't entirely disagree with him. "But it's stealing," she said. "Just food," James argued. "Lewis said it should be a natural right for everybody to have enough food." "Does Lewis know?" "No." Sammy wasn't back. "Sammy, tell the truth," Daisy said. "They left it on one of those tables. I don't know who they were. They left 2 bags on the table, and I could see there was nobody watching, so I took one. I wanted you all to have something to eat, Daisy." He made himself look straight at her. "I wanted to help out." Daisy understood. "Well, you surely did that. But stealing, we don't steal. Not unless they have to. Not unless they were starving, and then it should be Daisy herself to do it, not a little boy who's 6 years old." "I think it was pretty smart of him," said James, "and brave." "I ran," Sammy boasted. "I ran so fast, it's hard to run with a big bag. Nobody caught me." "I'm glad of that," Daisy said, reaching to pat his tangled hair. "I don't know how we would have gotten you back if you'd been caught." "Would you get me back?" Sammy asked. "Of course. What do you think?" "I don't know," Sammy said. "We're all together, aren't we, Daisy?" he asked him.
Yes, Bear?
Are you okay?
Yes. You okay? Back up, back up. You need your cereal log on? Yeah. You want to listen to the story? Huh? No?
Eat the cereal?
Bring that in your bowl. Please. No. The bowl from your room.
Attacking.
Huh?
It's attacking.
It is attacking.
We're all together, aren't we? We just have to get you back. But it would be hard, really hard. So I'm glad. They ate the celery and the egg salad sandwiches right away.
Daddy gotta clean them still. Let Daddy clean them and you can have it. Ooh, shit. Daddy spilled some water. Okay. I'm sorry.
You want me to continue?
Please.
They ate the celery and the egg salad sandwiches right away because the mayonnaise would spoil. The rest of Sammy's food they put away for some other time. Meanwhile, they built a fire and roasted Darcy's fish over it. Even James was full when they finished. They stayed put for the rest of the long, early summer afternoon. But when the evening came into the air and the families on the beach left, the children went down to the water. James sat quietly by the water's edge while the rest played tag until dark. James wanted quiet. The heat had given him a headache, but he told Dicey she didn't have to worry about him. When they returned to the campsite, Louis and Edie were there waiting for them. James, we got you something, Edie said. It's convalescent food. She handed him a small grocery bag. It held 2 oranges. Thanks, James said. They look terrific. He peeled the orange and ate it. Dicey grabbed the other one from him, peeled it, and split it in half. She gave half to Maida and half to Sammy. James looked like he wanted to say something to her, but he didn't. Guess what? Edie said. Her voice came out of the dark. What? When we went to get the oranges, there was some man in there buying food. He said his lunch had been stolen.
Oh!
Louis took over the story. He was a big fat guy. Asked him what the country was coming to when a family's picnic lunch was stolen in a public park. He said it was probably dough bags. he was all for calling in the police. But the guy who runs the store said it was probably somebody's idea of a bad joke. The big guy said that if he could get his hands on the joke, he'd show him what he thought of it. He reminded me of your father, didn't he? He reminded me of your father, didn't he, Edie? Isn't that just about what your father would do? Then he pulls out a wallet, foot thick, crammed with bills. He peels off a couple and goes out, still complaining about his bad luck. I say good luck to whoever took off with his lunch. Why, James asked. With big guys like that, with thick bankrolls, they got so much they don't even know what to do with it. And they're always the first ones to call the police on the little guys, like us, like you. Dicey went over to the trash barrel to throw out the orange peels. Edie went with her. Danny, I wondered if you kids had taken it. Nope, Dicey said. No, how could we? We were fishing at the marsh. Well, I thought, if you were hungry enough, Edie said. We're not hungry, Dicey said. We've got plenty. If you say so, Edie said. Louis called over. Hey, Danny, James says you caught a mess of fish. Glad at the change of subject, Dicey told him about the marsh and how easy it was to catch fish there. Louis said it was illegal to fish in the marsh, because that area was a game sanctuary. So you better be careful. You don't want to get caught at it. How are they supposed to eat then? Dicey asked herself. By buying food, she answered. The whole world was arranged for people who had money, for adults who had money. The whole world was arranged against kids. Well, she could handle that, somehow. If you were caught, Louis said, kids have no legal rights at all. That's one reason I took off. What about you kids, Danny? How come you're on the road? Huh? Dicey asked, pretending she hadn't been listening. You're about the most secretive bunch I've ever met, Louis said. I don't even know where you're from. Where are you from? Nowhere special, Dicey said. You don't trust me, Louis's voice hovered in the darkness as he waited for an answer. And don't tease him, Lou. I don't trust anyone, Dicey said. It's what you said. Kids have no rights, so we have to be extra careful. Why don't kids have any rights? James asked. Because parents own them, Louis answered quickly. Your parents can beat you, steal your money, decide to take you to a doctor or not take you, anything they want. There's a law. I have to go to school, James said. That's right, isn't it? If you look at it that way. They couldn't kill me, James continued. That would be murder. If it could be proved. What in the world?
Yes? Okay. You didn't have a black horse?
Is he good?
Not one.
James thought about this for a moment, and then he said, "The only person who will look out for me is myself. You got it, and you better learn how to do that. Learn pretty quick and learn good. Look out for yourself and let the rest go hang. Because they're out to hang you. You can be sure of it." "What about love?" Edie asked. "You tell us all about it. Tell us all about your old man. And then talk about love," Louis said. "Danny here knows what's what. He doesn't trust anyone." "What do you two do when you're not camping here?" Dicey asked them. She saw the two heads turn toward one another, and the look they exchanged. "I can't remember," Edie said in a soft voice. "Nothing before now seems real to me anymore. Nothing before is worth remembering." "So I guess you'd say we didn't do anything, and now we do something? We plucked the lotus, right, honey?" When they got up to leave, Edie said she'd come by tomorrow and bring James some soup. "That sounds good," James said. The two young people stole silently away. Grace was listening. For a little while she wondered if they were hanging around to hear something. The next morning, Sunday morning, dawned warm. Morning spread a haze of golden heat over the trees and boulders. James said it wasn't a good day for him to travel. It was too hot. It was too far, and he just wasn't feeling right. So Dicey took her family across the top of the highland to the long beach. She guessed correctly, as it turned out that beach would be a favorite spot, that it would be crowded with the sunset. She planned for the Tillemans to lose themselves among the mob of people there. James protested, saying he wanted to wait for Edie, but Dicey told him he had to come with them. The sun would give him a headache, he said. She said he thought he could stand that. "How much longer are we going to have to wait anyway?" she demanded. "I don't know. I told you. I'll say when I feel okay again," James said. "It's not my fault I'm sick." Dicey didn't answer. The long beach was a flat crescent that marked the edge of the shallow cove. Children straddled the water's edge, and a few bolder ones were actually swimming. Towels crowded the sand like bright pieces of confetti. On the towels lay people in bathing suits, surrounded by picnic baskets, paper bags, canvas totes, blaring radios, coolers full of ice and drinks. The Tillemans walked about unnoticed, and later returned to their camp for a quick lunch of ham sandwiches and potato chips, which finished off the food from Sammy's bag. Then they went back to the long beach. Dicey was glad not to meet Louis and Edie. Later in the afternoon, when the beach began to empty, Dicey looked around to gather James and Maybeth and Sammy together. They could leave tomorrow. She had watched James, and she was pretty sure he was fine. Sammy was nowhere to be seen. Neither James nor Maybeth had spoken to him for a long time. Dicey looked out over the low sandbars, not yet covered by the incoming tide. She knew she didn't have to worry about Sammy having drowned. She decided to wait a few minutes. He might, after all, have just slipped away in the woods to pee. Sure enough, within 10 minutes, she saw his sturdy body trudging down the path from the highlands. They went to meet him. As they walked along the cliff, they fronted the sound. Dicey asked him where he'd been. Sammy turned his head to look behind him and then announced with swelling pride, "I got us another one." "Another what?" "Another bag of food."
No.
"It was all the leftovers the family couldn't finish. I watched them eat, they packed up the bag, then they all went to the rinse-off in the sand, and I grabbed the bag and I ran. It's at the camp." "Good job, Sammy," James said. "No, it isn't,"
It's not a good job.
Dicey said. She knelt down in front of him, and Sammy knows that, she said, looking straight in his eyes. His mouth grew stubborn, and he could not look at her. "Stealing isn't right," Dicey said. "Not even if we're hungry?" Sammy argued. "You're not hungry. Not really hungry," Dicey said. "We've never stole things. Tillemans don't have to steal." "Well, maybe we should," James interrupted. "It's like a war, isn't it? Us against everyone. So we can get to Bridgeport. Otherwise, You'd have to ask a policeman for help right away when there was one hanging around our car, remember? Dicey remembered. So if it's like that, what's wrong with Sammy taking somebody's leftovers? And more, too. Sammy grinned up at James. There's money, a wallet. Oh.
No.
Oh, no,
You're in trouble now.
Dicey groaned.
Yeah.
Sammy, you can't take a wallet the way you can food. You just can't get away with that. You have to take it back. No, Sammy cried. Yes, Dicey said firmly, and on the double. I'm right, aren't I, James? Even James agreed. Dicey sent James and Maybeth on to gather mussels and clams and firewood. She hurried Sammy back to the camp, and he showed her where he'd hidden the stolen bag. But they're gone home, he protested. Their towel was gone when they came back. Worse and worse, Dicey thought hard and fast. She took the wallet out of the bag. It was a man's wallet. Brown leather, and grabbing Sammy by the hand, ran back to the Long Beach. She wanted to make him give it back and apologize, but she couldn't. Not at the risk. The Long Beach was empty under the shadows that fell from the cliff toward the tower. Dicey heard voices coming from somewhere. She stood halfway down the steep hill and made Sammy point to where he found the bag. She lifted her arm and hurled the wallet at that spot. She didn't wait to see where it landed, but she turned and ran back laboriously uphill. She didn't wait for Sammy. Safe again under the cover of the trees, Sammy spoke sullenly. It had almost $20 in it. She didn't answer him. She couldn't think of what to say. Finally, she said, "You have got to do what I tell you." "What I tell you? Not anybody else." Sammy nodded as if he understood. They had a fire on the beach that evening and steamed mussels, so hot and chewy they burned their tongues on the tawny meat. The smell of damp seaweed, richer than the smell of wet wood, rose with the smoke of the fire and lingered over their faces. They were salty after the day at the water. They were together. The light dimmed and melted into early twilight. The stars became visible, pinpricks of light in the silken sky. If they hadn't known better, they would have thought that when the fire died out and the moon shone bright in the sky, they could turn and trudge slowly over familiar dunes to their own home, where Mama would look up absent-mindedly to greet them and ask if they had a good day. Sammy dug wells for the water to run into. Maybeth arranged shells and water-polished stones into intricate design. James skimmed rocks out over the water. "We'll get going again tomorrow," Dicey said. "I'm not sure," James protested. "I don't think I should yet." He looked like he meant what he said. "We could stay here," Sammy added. "It's okay here." Dicey sat down beside the fire, her knees drawn up under her chin, poking at the blaze of a long stick and thinking. They had to go. But what if James wasn't better and it hurt him? Should she wait another day? Louis and Edie came up silently behind her and surprised her with some chords on the auto harp. Dicey welcomed the music, but she wanted to avoid any further contact with them. Edie played and sang, and Louis took Maybeth by the hand and led her into a galloping dance up and down the beach. Sammy trailed them in a jig of his own while James clapped time energetically. Dicey watched him. Some brother. He was no more sick than she was. They were leaving tomorrow.
Yep.
She had dragged them out of the park herself. The dance over, they all relaxed around the fire while Edie continued to sing. Louis held Maybeth at his side. Sammy curled up against Dicey. The sky turned black velvet. Deep satin water curled against the sand. "You gotta go to sleep," Dicey said after a while. "Don't go yet, Danny," Edie said, putting down the auto harp. "I don't know when I've had a better time." Dicey stood up and dusted the sand from her fanny. Barely awake, Sammy waited beside her. James stayed seated, his eyes reproachful. "Maybeth?" Dicey spoke gently, and Maybeth came over. "Good night, honey," Louis said. Maybeth didn't answer. "Doesn't she ever say anything?" Louis asked. "Sure, sometimes." "Wait," Edie said, "we'll come with you." They climbed up the steep path. At the top of the hill, Dicey turned to say goodnight, so they would go away. But Louis was holding on to Edie's arm and pointing. Between the trees, they saw a bright light that rhythmically flashed red. "What is it?" Dicey asked. "Shut up," Louis said. "Move it, Edie." They slipped away into the darkness. He was right, Dicey realized. It was a police car going along the road that ran past the campsites. She pulled her family into the bushes, told them to lie down. "It's a police car, James said, heading toward our camp. I dumped the bag in the trash, Dicey said. That's where they're gonna look, James said. I can't see what's going on, Dicey said. Lie quiet, everyone. Darkness rustled through the trees. Faintly, the water lapped on the shore. Going up to the woods past the playground, a long way around, she said. We'll sleep there and get out of here first thing in the morning. But, James said, Dicey felt Maybeth's hand on her arm. But nothing. You'll be fine all day today. You've been fine all day today, and you know it. Don't lie to me. Not anymore. I won't believe you. They waited a long time. They began a silent journey across the dark park. They made a wide circle around their campsite. They saw nothing. They heard nothing. Only the insects, the noise of the wind. Dicey was sure of her direction, but she wasn't sure just where they were until they saw the pile of emptiness on the playground before her. The pale emptiness of the playground before her. They were so tired by then that they just stumbled into the woods beyond and slept there, uneasily. And that is the end of chapter 5.